Yo guys, Dark Deception is filled with terrors beyond comprehension, chasing you endlessly with murderous intent throughout endless creepy mazes, ready to rip you apart when they're able to catch up to you. But these monsters are deeper than just simply being killing machines. Crafted from the souls of humans, these creatures reenact the sins of those human souls, whether wrath, greed, or even being abusive to your own blood. Their purpose is to be a form of punishment for those who sinned heavily while alive. But there's one particular group of monsters I want to discuss. The Joy Gang. A gang of murderous psychotic animatronic mascots who love to cause chaos. But just like every other Dark Deception monster, have you ever wondered what they represent? At the top of our heads, we don't even know what they represent as a whole. Each member has their own different evils that, as a whole, can't be categorized into one singular evil. Even in the secret E-notes, there's nothing that explains what the Joy Gang represents. What is their sin? What is their purpose? Well, unlike most, I don't think the Joy Gang represents any sin. And not just that, I think that the Joy Gang are way bigger than what we think. I think these animatronics are not only way deadlier, but their origins, their purpose, and their execution of that purpose could change the Dark Deception universe as a whole. Yo, what's up guys, it's IHSGames here, and I'd like to introduce you to What this theory will fundamentally explain is that the Joy Gang animatronics are not just monsters created to torment souls unfortunate to cross their path, but a secret army built by Malak to take over the other realms ruled by the other elite evils. As far-fetched as this sounds, there are details, some more obvious and some more subtle, that many missed that can explain this whole apocalyptic plan. Strap in and we'll get started. Throughout each maze in Dark Deception lies secret notes left by a mysterious character who goes by the name E, documenting their experience not only of their journey throughout Malak's realm, but as well as each maze, monster, and what they represent. Which leads us to E's note in the Joy Gang's maze, Mascot Mayhem. As soon as we enter, take a step to the right of the main castle and read the note, we find two major details that show that the Joy Gang are not like any other monsters in the realms. First detail, throughout the whole note, it's never mentioned once what sort of sin the Joy Gang represents. And I think this is done intentionally, not only because it ties in with the soon to be explained second detail, but it's not like E would forget to mention what the Joy Gang represent. After beating kinda Mascot Mayhem and moving on to the next maze, Barely Buried, E's note mentioned the soul type and sin of the monsters in the maze, Mama Bear and Trigger Teddies, which are the souls and sins of the twisted love of abusive mothers. So again, this isn't a detail that they would miss if they remembered to explain Mama Bear's and Trigger Teddy's soul type and sin. Second detail is this singular cryptic line. Quote, "There was a soul of some sort inside the machine, but it wasn't human." End quote. Again, each monster in Dark Deception is filled with the souls of humans and their sins. But the Joy Gang don't have human souls. So what souls do they have if it isn't human? With this side of the line, we can easily identify what souls inhabit these murderous animatronics. Quote, "I could tell immediately that this one was different from the others. It was a killing machine, one built purely for violence and chaos." End quote. Now, let's put on our tinfoil hats and think what other being with a soul whose whole purpose is to create violence and chaos exists that we know of. A demon. We know demons exist in the Dark Deception universe due to Malak explaining in Barely Buried that there is a dark dimension that houses all evil souls, one of them, just like Malak himself, being demons. So put two and two together, the souls of the Joy Gang are filled with the only type of souls capable of pure malice, chaos, destruction, and similar things alike, a demon's soul. This is why E wasn't able to document the soul and sin type of the Joy gang. They aren't human sin. They are demons, representing all sin, crafted and molded into one deadly metallic package. If you take a look at the other Dark Deception mazes, you start to see a small but very common occurrence. Look at Monkey Business, a hotel with no one staying in the rooms. Elementary Evil, a school with no students. Stranger Sewers, a sewer with nothing to drain from. Hell, even Torment Therapy, a hospital with not only no patients, but its treatments do not cure you at all. Each level is based off a real-life location, but doesn't serve its intended purpose. You might think it's the same for Mascot Mayhem. It's an amusement park with no amusements. And you're actually right, except the amusement park part is all a big facade. It's fake, a front to hide something deeper. The deeper you go into Mascot Mayhem, you discover a factory with conveyor belts transferring clones of each member somewhere. Unlike every other level, this level actually has a functioning purpose: to build an unlimited vast of clones of each member, which is absurd. Why does Malak need so many clones of the Joy gang? For what reason? For what purpose? Seeing that not only are the Joy gang built for pure violence, not only are they strong and deadly, but to have a lot of them only lead to one answer. Malak is trying to build a giant, unstoppable army. That's why we see a bunch of Joy gang clones within the level. Not only are each of these clones powerful with their own unique abilities, but add on the souls of demons and they become literal killing machines. And unlike human souls, which Malak is unable to get due to Beers taking control of his powers, demon souls are of abundance, allowing him to mass produce them to no end, meaning he can make his army as big as he needs in order to overpower other elite evils within the Dark Dimension. You might wonder, why didn't Malak just make normal robots, or monsters, or anything that isn't simply a not very cute animal mascot gang? In the same barely buried cutscene, Malak mentions how the elite evils wage war against each other to see who will be crowned as the ultimate evil. And knowing that Malak has the power to move through dimensions, we can assume that he could do that throughout the Dark Dimension as well, allowing him to see other elite evils' deadly armies being built for this war. I'm also assuming that the other elite evils have a similar ability to move throughout the Dark Dimension as well. And following common sense, allowing the enemy to see your army puts you at a disadvantage. They can prepare for what's coming to hit them. So how does Malak combat this without downright forcing them not to see his army? By disguising them as something innocent, something cutesy, something many other elite evils won't second guess is actually the thing that they'll be facing in this war: a children's animal mascot group. And to go further, hiding their barracks, aka the factory underneath the amusement park. If the elite evils so happen to unironically check out Joyland, they have no idea and no reason to assume that there is a giant deadly robot demon army underneath, because Joyland is covering every single thing. And with that, Malak has an advantage over them in this war. They won't know what will hit them until it's too late. And soon enough, Malak and his Joy army will suffice, causing a cataclysmic apocalypse throughout the Dark Dimension, allowing Malak to raise to the top, being declared as the supreme evil. But who knows if that would be the case? Maybe one forgotten movie star and a desperate husband can single-handedly stop it all when Dark Deception Chapter 5 finally releases.